This is the Amazon 1 month overview reading for the month of March 2025. It's currently February 27th, 2025, 7:11 p.m. Eastern Time. Amazon at the time of this reading is $208.74. That's USD. And the shuffle video for the Amazon March reading was created on January 23rd, 2025 at 6:56 p.m. Eastern Time. So what we'll cover in this video is the overall trend direction and chart behavior for the month of March. We'll give you some chart behavior to look out for near the month's highest high and the month's lowest low. We'll go and take a look at the February reading and see how our prediction panned out, because we're not always right. So we like to keep an eye on our accuracy. And when we aren't right, we learn from those. So it's pretty valuable info. We'll come back after the review of February and we'll give you the day-by-day sequence of chart events, as well as one of the best trades that we see for the month of March. Now, it's important to understand that we're predicting the sequence of the day-by-day sequence of chart events. Not each card's energy will necessarily line up perfectly with 1 day of time. So there may be some cases, so in some predictions, where you need to give the timing plus or minus a day or two of wiggle room. And that's why the Discord trade alerts are so valuable, because this should really only be seen as an expectation, a guide to an expectation of what we're going to see. But if something goes differently on the Discord, I'm able to update people in real time, keep them on track, because we've got the sequence of chart events, and that's what you should pay attention closest to. All right, now before we get into it, I just want to make sure you're aware the whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. We do that by following through on the rule of karma. You go to the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders. 5% of all profits from this information should be donated forward to one of these charities or a charity of your choosing. Keeps the flow of abundance moving forward through the universe. 5% of the profits should be donated back to the channel as a way to say thank you. Gratitude begets gratitude, my friends. So you can send that 5% through any of these means. If you're international, you can use Wise or crypto. There's a bunch of different QR codes for crypto when you click on this link. It leaves you at 90%. Make sure to spend that 90% out of love. As long as you do that, the universe considers you an angel investor of the channel. It's going to send it back to you tenfold for following through. All right, guys, let's get into it. The overall theme and behavior for March, this is a very tricky reading, guys. We've got a lot of cross-reading congruencies for April already appearing in the March reading here. And the theme card appears at first glance to go the opposite direction of what we see on the 1 year. But really, I think what's happening is we've got a pretty mixed March. There's a sharp drop in March, and there's a rally out of that with a fast sun move higher ending it, and then some more decline probably. We'll look at that in more detail as we get into the day by day. It's crossed with the Knight of Wands, which is that rally along a diagonal trend line ending with a fast sun move higher and then a breakdown through the diagonal trend line with increasing volatility on the way down. Behavior around the highest high for the month. We've got an important technical price level on a 1 year chart scale highlighted as indicated by the science card. This is also a cross-reading congruency for early April, where we're seeing a high in a lot of readings on the cusp of March, April. So my sense is that it's very likely this is talking about like at least a 2025 high thus far. Behavior around the lowest low, we should see bumping up against resistance and moving sideways, maybe breaking through, bumping along resistance some more. But that bumping along resistance sideways is the behavior that we'll most likely see quite a bit of near the month's low. Now, we'll get into the day-by-day sequence of chart events, but before we do that, let's take a look at February. I don't believe February went according to plan here. We had an alternate highest high here on the 3rd, which that ended up being pretty solid. But we went with this one. We expected a higher high over here with the lowest low on the 20th. We had a lowest low thus far on the 20th, but then it kept going into here. Very tricky reading. Very, very tricky reading. Interesting. Yeah, this was a very tricky reading, but basically based on today, we picked up on another peak, but not a high. It ended up being a peak, right? Which is something that'll happen. So the alternate actually panned out pretty well. Missed the low. Definitely not our best reading. My apologies to everybody for that, but it's important to show you guys that, because otherwise you think I'm right all the time and you go and you do silly trades that are irresponsible. Don't do that. Just trade responsibly. Here's an example of where this wouldn't have helped so much. It happens occasionally. My bad. All right, so let's get into it. Hopefully March will be much better. In On the 3rd, we've got sideways rotation and a sharp drop that stands out in that period of sideways rotation. There's probably a prominent peak and a prominent trough here. Another thing, guys, when I talk about prominent peaks and troughs and big moves higher and support and resistance, all of that stuff is going to be on the scale of a multi-day chart with one-day candlesticks unless otherwise specified. So we probably have a prominent peak and a prominent trough taking place on the 3rd, and definitely a lot of price change to the downside with a trough at the end of the day. We likely open higher on the 4th with a peak early in the day there. And there should be an important support level on a one-year chart scale highlighted there on the 4th. On the 5th, probably rally from that support out of the 4th and into the 5th, where we have another prominent peak. And then that prominent peak probably forms in the afternoon session on the 5th with a notable decline into a prominent trough taking place there as well. Resistance level on the 6th, that's highlighted it's important on a multi-day scale with a prominent peak there. And usually when you see the Princess of Discs or Princess of Swords, what you'll do is you'll decline from that resistance and then you'll return back to it in the not too distant future. So I would expect to either decline from it into a trough on the cusp of the 6th, 7th, or probably decline from it into a trough on the cusp of the 6th, 7th. And then we have another prominent peak on the 7th with another sharp decline starting early in the day. On the 10th, a sideways fluctuating rally preceding a notable decline. On the 11th, we've got an important range on a multi-day scale that's highlighted there. It looked probably like a U-shaped dip, like we hit that range, we dip, and then we come back to it. Prominent trough on the 12th with a rally along a diagonal trend line, breaking through horizontal resistance, making a breakout into a peak at the end of the day. That peak likely doesn't hold. We've got some flat behavior on the 13th, ending with a trough on the cusp of the 13th, 14th, and then a prominent move higher on the 14th early in the day, taking us into a sharp decline off of a peak in the later part of the day. Decline increases with momentum moving forward in time on the 17th. Price swings on the 18th. Another decline on the 19th. That decline likely turns around and turns into a movement to the upside either on the end of the day on the 19th, or will decline into the 20th, and then there'll be a big move to the upside out of it there on the 20th. So we've likely opened lower on the 21st with another big move to the upside, a prominent trough on the 21st, but a big move to the upside, reaching for distant resistance. A prominent peak on the 24th with a failed attempt to break through key resistance, followed by a decline through key support. An overbought crest that we sell off from through multiple support levels on the 25th. I'm advised not to chase a decline into the end of the day there on the 25th. Likely open higher on the 26th with multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance there on the 26th. Erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level on the 27th. In the midst of that erratic behavior, we revisit a crest or a trough that was recently a past opportunity. Let's see if we can figure out which one of those it is. It looks like it's a trough towards the end of the day, most likely. And then we have on the 28th, a prominent move higher, full retracement back down. On the 31st, a significant move, guys. The full card indicating some sort of significant price change. There's a prominent peak there. Likely we have a big move to the upside on the 31st, maybe out of a really low level. But that's a maybe. Really, a significant move to the upside to a prominent peak. And then the sneak preview for April, we've got a rally increasing with momentum moving forward in time, at least at some point there in April. And we're going to look at April as well in a little bit more detail in the monthly access version when we take a look at the 1 year. All right, so one of the best trades that I see for the month All right, so this Princess of Swords here on the 6th, when we've identified the price level, that resistance level, and we decline from it, you could likely open a long position probably at the end of the day, and you may be able to close that long position on the 7th, but more likely you're going to close that long position on the 10th. If I'm wrong about closing it on the 10th, there is a backup. You could likely close it on the 11th or the 12th. And that's one of the best trades that I see for Amazon in the month of March. Stay tuned, guys. I'm going to show you guys how to get the monthly access subscription, which gives you access to the live Discord trade alerts, live updated trading view charts, as well as all of the best trades that we see for the month and the timing of the high and the lowest low. So you go to our website, Tarot for Traders. Hover over Order Now. Click on Subscriptions. Monthly access subscription gets you everything that early access contains in it. The earliest you can get any public posts. And the SPY day trade alerts and swing trade alerts, as well as the Discord chat channel where you can ask questions, and the live trading view chart where you can actually see the drawings in real time. Monthly access also includes monthly predictions with day-by-day sequence of chart events for each of these cryptos and tickers, as well as the timing of the highest high and the lowest low for each of them, and the best trades in the Discord trade alert channels and live trading view chart links, all that stuff. Monthly access is $300 a month. It's grossly underpriced. It's not going to stay that way for long, guys. This is definitely going up in the relatively soon. So don't miss out on your opportunity to get it at that $300 level. Much love and appreciation to everybody that does that. You guys are amazing. You're the reason why we're able to do this full time. And you know where to go. You know what to do. Blessings to all my angel investors. I'll see you guys on the next one.